Hello, how you doing? It's Phil Thatch, and today I have another macro lens to take a look at. Really excited to get to test two macro lenses right in a row. This one is by TTArtisan, and it's their 100mm f2.8 macro lens. It has a 2x maximum magnification, which is awesome. And here is the box that it comes in. This is available for many mounts, but I have the Nikon version of the lens. Looks nice. This is a little bit lighter than the last macro lens that I tested. I'll put the weight on the screen. The lens hood just kind of slides on around the outside of the lens instead of snapping into place. This does have a 67mm filter thread. And this lens has, much like a lens I tested recently from Astahari, this lens has places to mount flashes. It just has 1, 2, 3, 4 evenly spaced around the lens barrel, but that's pretty cool. Unlike the last lens I tested that had these flash mounts, it comes with a device to screw into there. And now you've got a cold shoe, and it comes with this. I guess you could add something like this to the Astahari lens that I tested recently, but this TTArtisan actually comes with it. So that's a pretty neat feature. I wish it came with more so you could put flashes all the way around, but maybe one's all you need. This all metal lens focuses internally. Right now I'm focused at 2x, but as I change the focus towards infinity, you can see the elements moving away. And then I'll come back towards 2x and you should be able to see the elements inside the lens coming to the front. It's a nice design. There's a nicely clicked aperture ring that goes from 2.8 all the way to f22. I did all my macro work right here at f11. I feel like that's kind of the best compromise between depth of field and diffraction. The focus ring is very smooth and it has a nice long throw. And I did test this lens out. It will focus to infinity. This is 1:2. This is 1:1. And this is 2:1. So one macro starts about here at 1:2. There's 1:1. Right there is 1:1. And there's 2:1. But usually I just spin the thing all the way to 2:1 and I get my subject in focus by moving the camera forward and backwards is the way I do it. And I think that's kind of the standard way to get things in focus. Now, if what you're making a photograph of is too big for 2:1 to fit it in the frame, you can try another magnification. But today I shot 100% at 2:1, kind of to let you guys see what this thing can do when it's doing everything it can. This lens has no electrical connections whatsoever to the camera, so you won't be seeing any EXIF data. If you want to tell somebody what your aperture was, you better remember what you used. Fully manual in every way, manual aperture, manual focus, manual everything. But on a macro lens, that's not really a big deal. Usually if you're doing macro, even with an autofocus macro lens, once you get up to 1:1, you're probably doing manual focus anyway. I know that's the case for me. Once I get above 1:1, I rarely try to do autofocus, even with my Canon 1.4:1 autofocus macro lens that I have for my Canon R cameras. I think landscape photography and macro photography are the two genres of photography where a manual focus lens doesn't slow you down at all. You're probably going to manual focus in both of those genres anyway. Brought the TTArtisan 100mm 2x macro lens down here to the Tennessee River Park Curtain Pole Road area and the blue handrail, which is known for having a lot of insects on it. I'm actually doing two macro lens reviews in the same day, so if you've seen the macro lens review that came out just recently, there will be a lot of the same creatures in these photos. You know, if a insect sits still for a good while, I can usually get a pretty good shot of it. And if it doesn't sit still, I usually can't. That's my skill level with macro photography. But a lot of the creatures sat still long enough to where I could change lenses and get photographs of them with both lenses. So if you saw my other video and see a lot of similar images, it's because the two videos were made in the same day. But I've been enjoying shooting with the TTArtisan lens so far. Here's a ladybug I got with the TTArtisan lens at 2x magnification and f11. With photography of people or wildlife or insects, the most important thing to have in focus is the nearest eye. So I concentrated my focus point right here and definitely bagged it. It looks like the TTArtisan 100mm is a capable macro lens. Here's a weevil of some sort that I photographed in this video and a few minutes earlier for a different video with a different lens. It stayed in this location for quite some time. Here's another ladybug there on the blue handrail. Beautiful red color in this one, and some other even smaller creature right here to the side of it. This is also a ladybug, but this one is in its larval stage. This is the first time I've ever photographed a larval stage ladybug, but I got this shot of it and this shot of it from the side. From the front, you can almost see where the eyes are, kind of right around here, but you can't see them very good. And from the side, you can't see them at all. The eye is blocked by its legs, so I kind of concentrated on making sure this part of the larval stage ladybug was in focus. I believe this is a tree cricket. When I made my last video, I didn't look up its name, but I'm pretty sure this is a tree cricket. Here's a shot that turned out really good of this red ant. Just love the sharp focus on the eye in this one. And it's beautiful to me the way the body of the ant slowly drifts out of focus at f11 and 2x magnification with the TTArtisan 100mm lens. Here's a plant hopper bug there on the blue handrail. I saw a number of these this morning and they were really hard to get a photograph of because by the time I got it in focus and was ready to press the shutter button, it had already left. But this one stayed long enough for me to get a shot, so I was happy about that. And I was very surprised that this fly stayed there long enough for me to get a perfectly sharp photograph of it. Look how sharp the eye is on this one and all these crazy looking hairs on its head. Really happy to get this shot of a fly. I'm not sure what variety of fly this is, but there it was on the blue handrail. This is a stink bug. A lot of the photographs in this video have been cropped, but this one hasn't been cropped at all. And the stink bug was too large for the shot at 2x magnification. So after I bagged this shot, pretty sharp on the eye, I decided to change to 1.5x or maybe 1.25x. But by the time I had done that, the stink bug left. So this was my only shot of the stink bug there on the blue handrail. Now I've left the Curtain Pole Road area and I've gone over to a garden that's about a quarter mile down the walking path. And this is a 2x shot of just the head of this grasshopper, and you can see this 45 megapixel shot has not been cropped at all. So when I go 100%, it gets really big. But this is what happens when you go 2x on a really large insect. This was on a beautiful pink zinnia flower, and I think the color of the flower and the grasshopper kind of matches the color of the grasshopper's eye, kind of pink on top and green on the bottom. And this is a skipper on one of the zinnias at that garden near the river park. Also a 2x shot where I probably should have shot it at 1.5 or 1.25 or even 1.0. Still turned out pretty nice. This area right here is the focal plane and it is really sharp. Everything else is slightly out of focus. Some of the areas down here on the flower are in focus as well. With the incredibly shallow depth of field that you get with macro photography, if you want everything to be in focus, you'll need to make multiple shots and focus stack. But all of my examples today are single images. Thanks for watching my quick review of the TTArtisan 100mm f2.8 macro lens. I hope you enjoyed it. If you got something out of it, hit the thumbs up button. That helps me out a lot. And if you want to see some more stuff along these lines and everything else in the world photography related, subscribe and hit the bell. And as always, I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye-bye.